Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. In alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu rasuluh. Indeed, all the praise is due to Allah. We seek Allah's help and forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the evil in our soul and from our bad deeds. Whom Allah guides will never be led astray, and whom Allah does not guide, there is no guidance for them. I bear witness that there is no God, there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one, having no partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his final slave and messenger. Amma ba'd. So I am guessing that all of you are having as much anxiety and sleepless nights, anger, anguish, grief, pain, and suffering because of what's happening in the Muslim world, particularly in Palestine. And so I cry myself to sleep at night sometimes because I've been there. As all of you know, I have actually stayed in occupied territory in Iran and I. So I wanted to talk about this from a Quranic standpoint for a moment and help us with some coping skills with this. After this, we will break up into some groups once I know how many people we had, and we'll have a discussion. And then we'll have a male from each group and a female from each group to come back and share what you learned in your group. And we'll have dessert then as well. So don't worry about the dessert. We're going to get there soon enough. So first of all, we do know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that we will be tested. That we will be tested in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 155 to 157. And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger, and the loss of wealth and lives and fruits. But give good tidings to the patient, who when disaster strikes them, they say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Indeed, we belong to Allah. And indeed, to Him we will return. Those are the ones upon whom are blessings from their Lord and mercy. And it is those who are guided. So despite our pain and despite our anguish, we have to know that these tests are from Allah. No matter how angry you are, and just remember that when we get into those feelings, we are often getting into our ego. We're getting into our position, and we need to be really careful with that. We find ourselves living in times of tremendous turmoil and suffering. Again, especially when we look at the situation in Palestine. In 3 weeks, over 8,000 lives have been taken, and almost half of those are children. It is easy to become overwhelmed by anger, anguish, pain, suffering, and sadness, and we must know that we are allowed to feel sad and stressed. Even though we know that we are tested and we say to Allah we come and to Allah we return, it is part of the emotions of a human being to feel sadness. Even the greatest believers and prophets, may Allah be pleased with all of them, including Prophet Yaqub, I.S.L.A.M, Miriam, I.S.L.A.M, and our blessed Prophet Muhammad experienced sadness and stress. Prophet Ayub was so sad when he lost his son Yusuf, I.S.L.A.M, that he lost eyesight from crying so much. Our beloved Prophet I.S.L.A.M experienced sadness. There was even a period in his life called the year of sadness. And I feel like for many of us, we feel like we now know what that might mean a little bit, have a taste of what that might mean. Miriam I.S.L.A.M, one of the 4 perfect women, even said before she was going to give birth, I wished I had died before this and was long forgotten. So sadness is a normal part of life. But we must remember that the shaitan will try to trick us and tell us that if we feel sad or anxious, it means that we've done something wrong or that Allah is punishing us. Do not fall prey to that lie. Okay? Do not fall prey to that lie. Remember Allah's promise in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah does not burden a soul more than it can bear. We are tested, but Allah knows our capacity to endure. So tonight, I want to emphasize the importance of self-care. As a therapist, we have burnout, and then we have something called compassion fatigue. And it's very different. Compassion fatigue is more when a person has been exposed to conditions that would cause you to have PTSD. Whereas burnout is just you're doing so much and you just burn out. But in most cases, or both cases, sometimes we run out of gas. And I know for me, we had 2 events yesterday, and of course tonight and tomorrow I have 3 events. And I'm exhausted. And I know a lot of that exhaustion is just emotional. And the attacks that are being meted out to us, the hatred that people look at us with, it's very painful. So loving yourself is, who could finish that sentence? Loving yourself is loving Allah. Exactly. And self-care is an act of worship. Yet it is often the most neglected of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's duties. How many of us can say that I don't do a good job of taking care of myself? Yeah. So I want to point out how important it is and how it is actually an act of worship for you to take care of yourself. It is essential to understand that taking care of us is not selfish. And I have to say, particularly to moms, we have 3, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but 3 breastfeeding moms. And for us men, if we want to learn about what patience is like, we should just imagine what it's like to have someone nursing from you about every couple of hours, and you don't have a life. You're literally, whatever your child says, that's what you do. So we love you, sisters, and we got to get busy because we got Dean and we got 2 sisters here, so we got to get another young man in the family here. Okay. Yes, thank you, brother. So that means you got to get to work, brother. All right. Just as we are taught to be kind and helpful to others, we must extend that kindness and care to ourselves. And I'm going to give you 4 tips tonight from the Quran and Sunnah, inshallah. As a matter of fact, in the authentic ahadith, it says that our body has rights on us. So we need to sleep and we need to eat from the good things. The Quran says to eat from the good things of this earth. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported that the Prophet said, "Verily your own self has rights over you, so fast and break your fast, pray and sleep." That's one version of the ahadith that we find that addresses this. Is another longer version. So your body has a haq, it has a right, and we must treat it accordingly. How can we benefit others in the ummah if we do not take care of ourselves? Love for your brother and sister, what's the end of that? What you love for yourself. So what's the litmus test for how much you love other people? How much you love yourself. So when we're having these tough times, we need to get the thermometer out and see how much we're loving ourselves. Because it is the command from Allah, and it was the practice of our beloved Prophet ﷺ. And it is a fundamental teaching in the Islamic faith. Islam is the perfected religion ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit humanity, to guide and grant us goodness in this world and in the hereafter. And don't worry about the kids crying, just listen better, because they are picking up these voices and they are learning, and this is being recorded on their brain. And all of us were little babies and we were crying just like this, so we just want to be patient with them It's beautiful music to my ears to hear babies cry, as long as it's a happy cry. So while Islam teaches us to be selfless and to think of others, it also undoubtedly places importance on caring for our well-being too. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, the most beloved people to Allah are those who are most beneficial to people. The most beloved deed to Allah is to make a Muslim happy, remove one of his or her troubles, forgive them their debts, or feed them when they are hungry. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh relates that Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, whoever removes one of the hardships of a believing soul, Allah will remove from him or her one of the distresses on the hereafter. Whoever solves someone else's problem, Allah Azza wa Jal will make things easy for them in this world and the hereafter. Allah is ever assisting his servants as long as the servant is helping his brother or sister. So tonight, when we do break into groups, everybody's going to have an opportunity to get this blessing. Because the whole intention for breaking out in groups tonight, that 15 minutes you have together, and we'll add a little bit so you can get your dessert and all of that stuff, is so that you can actually put this to practice. By listening to your brother and offering, or your sister, and offering them the advice of how you're actually caring for yourself and how you're getting through this. But I want us to have an opportunity to purify ourselves and to empty ourselves within the family. We must recognize that we are comprised of infinite potential. And by nurturing ourselves, we gain the strength to benefit ourselves and others. When we break into groups tonight, I want the focus to be on this. But first, I'm going to give you 4 Islamic self-care tips supported by both the Quran and scientific research. First is to take time for your faith. Some people have told me, brothers and sisters have told me, I'm so angry, I'm not praying. One brother came to the masjid last week and said, I'm so angry, I'm not even praying. So the first one is, take time for your faith. In Surah 13, verse 28, verily in the remembrance of Allah, who could finish that one? Verily in the remembrance of Allah does the heart find rest. Okay? So whatever this looks like for you, we must build time into our days and nights for our faith to be sustained. One of the missions, part of the mission statement of Islam is to help reverts and people who converted back that had left Islam to build a sustainable level of Iman, so that in these times of struggle you can maintain. Not only will you maintain, but that you will grow in your Iman. Making salat, doing dhikr, and reading the Quran are not just our duties to Allah. Prayer actually improves health. There is a lot of empirical data in journals of psychology that show that people might not even believe in one God, but the people that pray get better sooner and they get out of the hospital quicker. The second principle from the Quran is to practice gratefulness. And you might say to me, how, brother, can I be grateful when so many children and innocent civilians are being killed? This is the command of Allah, and it is a principle that will help you take care of yourself. It may not be easy, but we are commanded to cultivate an attitude of gratitude in Islam. Gratitude has been proven in clinical studies to reduce stress, improve sleep, alleviate depression, and enhance our overall quality of life. It is a buffer against stress and a guarantee of increased blessings. A gratitude journal is a great way to do this. There are many tips online about this and apps for doing that as well. So remember just to get up and say, I am safe. There is a lot going around in the world, but right now I am safe. I have a roof over my head. The government's not going to come and just tear my house down. So we are safe. The third one is to spend time contemplating nature. In Surah 30, verse 1 through 6, and I'll just do a short version of this. Verily, in this are signs for those who believe, for those who reason, for those who reflect, for those who ponder, for those who do tadabbur. The signs of Allah are where? In ourselves and in the universe. So I encourage you, when you are stressed and you are burnt out and you don't have any gas in your tank, go to a park, take your shoes off, put your bare feet on the ground, make sure there's no glass, just check that you're safe. And that will literally, the earth will actually pull free radicals out of your body. And there's a cardiologist that wrote a book called Earthing. I think it was Earthing. And he has all of his patients to walk barefooted for 20 minutes a day, and their heart conditions improve. So that's another thing you could do for healing. Spending time in nature has been shown in studies to improve short-term memory. I need to stay out there all night. Reduce inflammation. I could use that some more. Fatigue, stress, and anxiety. Protect vision. I need that too. And lower blood pressure.
What kind of planet chemistry?
I think so. And also another thing is take care not to fill your life with toxic environments. Be aware that we are already struggling. This is heavy times for most of us. So just remember to stay in good environments, safe, healthy environments. The Quran encourages mindfulness. The word dhikr in the Quran is often translated as mindfulness. The word dhikr or taqwa, is also translated as mindfulness by multiple translators. So if we are mindful of Allah, then we won't be thinking about the troubled world that we live in. Just a few minutes of daily meditation or mindfulness can significantly impact our lives. Research says just 10 minutes a day. So basically, you can accomplish that in one prayer. Pew Research says that the average Muslim is only praying 3 times a day. And what's the first thing we'll be asked about on the day of judgment? Our prayers. Remember that your body has rights over you, and nurturing your body and mind is essential for your overall well-being. Embrace moments of solitude for self-reflection and self-discovery. It is not selfish. It is a means of detoxifying your heart and mind from the distractions of this world. Let us remember that Islam teaches us to be of service to others, but this service begins with taking care of ourselves. By doing so, we strengthen our faith and become better equipped to benefit our fellow human beings and the Ummah. Let us strive to be strong believers. As the Hadith tells us, the strong believer is more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. So we have to take these trials and turn them into triumphs. We have to take the pain that we're experiencing and turn it into purpose. We have to take the tests that we're experiencing and turn it into a testimony. That's what Allah is looking for from us. So let's not lose heart or become discouraged, for Allah has decreed what Allah will. Let us work diligently on our health and strength, seeking help from Allah and knowing that there is goodness in our struggles and successes. May Allah grant us the strength and wisdom to embrace self-care as an act of worship, and may Allah bless us with the ability to benefit others. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Transcendent are you, Allah, and praise be to you as you praise yourself. I bear witness that there is no deity save you.